Hello and welcome to Women in Retail Talks. I'm Christina Stidham, Digital Content Manager at the Women in Retail Leadership Circle, and today I'm joined by Angela Cornache, founder of Cloudz, the bra insert company solving the issue of moving, bunching bra inserts with patented stay-put technology. Today we're discussing why Angela started the brand, why women love the Cloudz inserts, her plans to grow the company, and a lot more. So Angela, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, hi Christina, thanks for having me.
So first, can you tell our listeners a little bit about your career background and how you got your start in retail?
Sure, absolutely. So I started off, I went to school for merchandising, and then my career progressed into a lot of actually deep dive into product development. A lot of my roles were in swimwear brands for like Speedo, Swim Outlet, Dolphin. So it was pretty heavy in the product development aspect, and really strive to just grow my career in product development. I also spun off and I worked in fabric development for a textile company as well. So those combined product development and textile development background.
Awesome. So you obviously have a lot of experience in creating product. What led you to start Cloudz, and how are your bra inserts different from the other ones that are currently on the market?
Yeah, so I work a lot in swimwear, and I started to see all the issues that women have with inserts, from the models trying on the swimwear to ourselves, just myself wearing them, and basically just seeing the bunching, and everyone would complain about it. All the women I would speak to would talk about how they hated them, and that, well, many of us still wanted to wear them, and you kind of just put up with these issues. Whenever you put your sports bras or swimwear in the washing machine, for example, too, they would always end up at the bottom, and then you'd have to it's almost like a game, like a puzzle. You'd have to try and get these little stupid inserts back into your swimsuit or sports bra. So it's kind of all that. I started, it just really stuck with me, and I love researching. That's part of my product development side as well. I really enjoy the research side of, digging deeper and figuring out what else is out there, what exists, what are the features that exist, what's the problems, and if there was anything out there that had solved any of the issues at all or anything like it. And so I did that for the inserts, and I found that there's many different cheap kind of flimsy inserts out there in the market, but there wasn't anything that had solved those issues in particular. So I basically just went for it, and I decided to figure out, from the creation of the fabric was the hardest part. So working with the fabric mill and, figuring out the development side of the profile of the silicone, and testing for 2 years, and, going through that to also just the sizing, seeing also what was on the market. There was a lack of sizing. That was a big issue as well, where women would complain either they were larger and the inserts didn't cover them, or they were on the smaller side and the inserts were too big. So I also spent time really finding the right fit, fitting on tons of women of all sizes to create an extended sizing as well. So there was a couple different issues that existed that I was going after. So once I figured out the functionality standpoint, I then went into the extended sizing and also the skin tone ranges. On the market, there is a typical beige nude color that is in some garments, and there's also typically white or black. But for women of all skin tones, it doesn't work for everyone. And what would happen is, let's say you had a darker skin tone and you wanted to wear a light blue sports bra, and your insert is completely nowhere near your skin tone. it stands out more. Basically, you see it's like you can completely see the insert through whatever the swimsuit, if it's a light colored swimsuit or a sports bra.
Right.
So I also thought about, okay, I spent time on gathering, the right skin tone shades to cover more women, and so created 5 skin tone shades base just to cover a bigger range. And it really does work if you wear them in let's say, a different, darker skin tone will wear them in a light colored white even, or white swimsuit, or white, sports bra, or light, pastel colors. It doesn't show. So that was also really important because I felt like women should be able to have products that fit them in both size and skin tone in this case when you are wearing something light. So that was important for Honey Cloudz. Once I really figured out the functionality, like I said, that was the other pieces of it that was important for me to include in the brand.
Yeah, those are definitely essential. And it is crazy that there's nothing else out there on the marketplace that is anywhere close to the correct skin color. Like,
yes,
it's insane. And
2019 and 2020, it's like it was wild. I researched it, and I'm like, okay, they've been out for around 20 years. They came out in the early 2000s. I guess the popularity really surged of inserts, but in 20 years, like, no one had thought about, wait, like, how can we stop these from moving? Like, and
right, there was no improvement.
or like, wow, like, how come there's not enough sizes? And just things like that. So I always think of that kind of stuff. That's my brain.
Yeah, that's great. And speaking of it, sticking in place and being grippy, can you talk a little bit more about the fabric and then also the use cases? Like, you talked about putting it into your swimwear. Can you talk about the fabric and then how women use them?
Absolutely, yeah. So the fabric, with my fabric background and just being in retail, definitely, like, when you're going to go into like a chlorine environment, or even like sports, like tougher environments, having like a polyester is actually a strong fabric. It's the best fabric for chlorine, for swimming, for seawater. So I have a polyester fabric base, and then the medical grade silicone application on the outside was obviously, that was a key piece of it for the stay put technology. So literally, just working with the fabric mill and tons of trial of getting the right profile, because if it was too tall, it would show through garments, and if it's too flat, it doesn't function properly. So it was a lot of back and forth and testing, and we were tested on competitive swimmers that are in chlorine a lot, to CrossFit, yoga, Pilates, bar, and the ultimate test was jumping through waves. Actually, was me. I felt like if I could jump through waves, and I actually wore them in a swimsuit just against my breast, and you don't have to have them in a swimsuit liner like that. Like, not all swimsuits have or even sports bras, they don't always have that pocket liner. So the cool thing about Honey Cloudz as well is that you can wear them just against your breast, like in sports bras, in swimwear, without that pocket liner, because they stay in place. So the ultimate test literally was, like, I wore them in Florida, jumping through waves, and they were just in my swimsuit top, not even a pocket liner, and they didn't move. Like, I dove through waves. So I that was my last test that I knew. I'm like, okay, they are ready. Like, we're going to production. Like, these are not, they didn't move in waves. So, like, if you're running around for the day, running after kids, or, just you're at work and they're super cold conference rooms, or something, and you don't have to worry about your nips showing, and that was like, so the women wear them in everyday bras. That's become a huge, definitely, direction for Honey Cloudz. Initially, swimsuit side of it and fitness side of it, in your sports bras, in active tops, women were definitely, that's a big market for them, and women typically wear inserts in those type of garments. And then, more recently, after I launched, there was this huge drive for also your regular bras, and that comes down to typically the nip coverage. So, where if you wear online bras, wearing an insert in there, obviously, it prevents your nips from showing. If you're, of course, we all know specific situations, you don't want them to be on display. So that's been really awesome. And then women, also wearing them for lightweight shaping and lightweight support. So it gives added support. I always stress that it's not meant to be a strapless bra per se, or in that sense. I mean, it basically, they give a little bit extra support to your sports bras, your swimwear, and your regular bra. And then the lightweight shaping is also nice because, as we women know, as you get older or you have kids, just your breasts change. And a lot of women have commented that they love that they really, it just gives them a nice natural shape. It's nothing, none of our inserts are super padded. These are lightweight. They conform to your breasts really nicely, but they're not meant to be push up. They're not meant to be a super padded versions. This is, for nipple coverage, for lightweight shaping, and for added support. So I always try to make that clear.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, they're just like a nice barrier there, a nice little extra little support inside the bra or swimwear. That's great.
Yeah.
So as you've been growing, I'm wondering, as far as marketing and letting other women know that this product is out there, what exactly have you been doing to grow the brand? And I'd also love to know if you use any tools or have any tips on managing everything yourself as a startup.
Yes. So yes, the wonders of a startup. So I wear, currently in our company, I wear every hat. And, also when you start off as a startup, you don't typically have a lot of, funds for marketing. But I always tell everyone that there are, creative ways that you can still promote your brand without dropping a lot of money. And the way that what I do is, first of all, is that I make sure that every single person that buys from us, that they need help with sizing. We give a personalized approach. If they, send us an IM, I do a lot of IM through our website chat throughout Monday through Saturday, actually, and 9 hours a day. So we offer that. Of course, email, and so we're very responsive for one. And then when everyone that buys too, I tend to follow up and make sure that that how they fit, how they like them at this stage, and because that I feel like is your base for reviews. Initially when you're starting as well, for every brand, what do? We all check out the reviews. So I am fanatical about making sure that women feel like, one, that they are working with a real company with a real face. There's real women. It's like we're really interactive, and there's engagement. And then also, typical social media. So actually, Facebook's been the best for me so far. I I'm still working on Instagram and trying to improve that. But for me, Facebook has been a good tool, and also working on my email. So my marketing through email is definitely important, and it's definitely. And I also need to do that more. So that's something also that I could work on as being an entrepreneur and wearing all the hats. And then also, so two tools that I use that are really great are I use a website called Launch Grow Joy, and I discovered them like maybe 2 years ago. And basically, it's a great time saver. It lists all of the publications, what editors are looking for, from magazines to like major magazines like Oprah that we were in. It was because I went through Launch Grow Joy to find it. And it gives you the direct contact. It gives you the exactly what they're looking for at that moment. So you have like a 2-week or so lead time, and it'll say, okay, this magazine's looking for this. The deadline is this, and if your product fits, you reach out to the editor. And so literally, a lot of my success has been just consistent emailing for 3 years of emailing, knocking on doors, um, and reaching out to magazines. We were also featured on an Elvis Duran morning show, radio show, and that was also, it was an email. Like, I started with an email. I sent an email to uh, the person that was doing the, like, what's trending, and we were able to get on the Elvis Duran show, which was like, a month after we launched. So that was really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So a lot of people say, like, wow, like, how do you get this, like, all these responses? And it's because I mean, you too, it's not like I write 10 emails and I get 10 responses. I mean, you're talking like 300 and you get, like, 10 really good, 10 good
Right.
responses. But
Yep.
that's also part of being, an entrepreneur and launching a brand. It's just that you have to just continue to believe and just keep the grind of just trying. And I tell everyone, just keep on knocking on doors, because, like, even recently we had some good doors open, and it, like, literally, again, one of them was because of an email I wrote a year ago. They saved it.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I tell people, just do not give up. Just keep on trying. And for the majority, those are my, like, current marketing strategies. But Launch Pro Joy. And I use I get a free email every day from a website that I recommend to entrepreneurs. It's called Haro, Help a Reporter Out. And they also list from major morning TV shows. Once in a while, they'll have that on there of what they're looking for, to smaller online blogs. We have got a few wins through there as well. And it's a free email that you get. And actually, a lot of even bigger brands also, like, look to that for quick, getting emails, kind of scourings to get the word out there. I feel like if you have a great product, it's the strategy of getting the word out, and that's
Right.
the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, making those
like, big
connections.
challenge. Yeah.
Definitely. That's so interesting. I didn't know that those tools like that existed, but I can see how really just continuing that email outreach and keeping up to date with these magazines and people who could offer you coverage, just like this podcast, when you're doing, like, the interviews and things, that would really help grow your brand. So that's awesome. And that's great advice for other entrepreneurs looking to, for tips and tricks. That's perfect advice. So you kind of already talked about my next question when you were introducing the brand, all about the extended sizing and variety of colors. And I understand, I can clearly see why that is so essential to the brand. So I'm just going to skip to my next question, because I feel like you answered that really well already. So I'm wondering if you have anything big coming up for the Honey Cloudz brand in 2020. And then beyond that, how do you hope to see your company growing in the future?
Yeah, so we do have some big milestones coming up. Actually, so in February, which, when this is aired, we have two major morning network shows that Honey Cloudz is going to be featured on. So that was definitely one of my goals that I, like, last year had written out, and said to myself, like, I have to get on, I have to get Honey Cloudz on TV for that outreach. I knew that was kind of my next step, and I just kept on plugging away, and it definitely came through. So it'll definitely, so in February, there's two major morning network shows that are going to feature us. And beyond that, definitely have a lot of, plans and goals in the pipeline. I have, since I created the first two essential styles, I had already had, I have ideas for product line extension. So definitely, there's two strong ideas that I have, in my back pocket that I am, working on the development for. And my goal was to, get these first two styles out there, successful. And once that was achieved, then I was going to pull out my back pocket, the other products for Honey Cloudz. And so I'm just being strategic about it. But there's definitely plans for other product line extension. And beyond that, continuing to, promote and grow the brand itself, and hopefully, and get beyond wearing all the hats. so,
Right.
so yeah, that's my goal is to hand off a few of those hats. But yeah, I mean, definitely. So really, it's product line extension for me, and just get in outreach. That's my next kind of in the works plans.
Great. Yeah, that's super exciting that you're going to be on those TV shows. That's awesome.
Yes.
And I can see how you would definitely want to start building out your team as you're growing, because you can't wear all of the hats forever. Sounds certainly like a lot of work.
No, it's a lot. Yeah, and especially like we're all not good at everything, and that's the other thing with entrepreneurs is that even though if you can do a lot, that's awesome and it's great money savings in the beginning. But eventually, there's certain aspects of it like that they're definitely not my strong suit. Like I'm wearing that hat, but I'd rather not wear that hat, and like I definitely want to hand it off. And I think that that's a part of it. Is just realizing too like what your strengths are, and the and the product side of it. I will definitely always heavily be involved, but definitely, yeah. Hand off the hats when you can, and keep the ones that that are your strong suit.
Right.
So,
keep the ones that are your strengths, and then find other people to build out your team who have strengths in the other areas. That's great advice.
Yeah.
So for my last question, I wanted to talk about mentorship, because that's something at Women in Retail Leadership Circle that we talk about a lot. And I'm wondering if you have had any strong women mentors throughout your life, throughout your career in retail, and anyone in particular who might have really inspired you to just go for it and start the Cloudz brand.
Okay, yeah, I definitely. In my retail career, actually, it first started at college. At school, I had a wonderful female mentor there. She was our program director, with just the biggest heart, and just such a believer of her students. And I'm still friends with her today, and she's still a cheerleader. Like all the little, even this podcast, she wants to share it and promote it, and everything. And
oh, that's great.
Yeah, so like that, it was just wonderful having her in my life. And also at my first big job out of college was at Speedo, and my boss there became my mentor, and she's also still today. So she, also just herself, just her career, how she's transformed her career to she was tough when I worked there, which was great because I learned a ton from her. And she really gave me those opportunities at my first job out of college. She had me sitting at the big table, and just really a lot of, Angela, what do you think? And just let me grow and blossom. And I definitely, still appreciate it to this day. And I also love and enjoy passing that on, because it's definitely a gift. And I think that there's so much that we can learn from others. And I really believe in passing it on. And I love mentoring myself, but yeah, definitely those are two strong ladies that I've had in my life that are still in my life. And I really value that for sure.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds like they were great mentors for you. Even like sponsorship, we talk about a lot too, where they really help push you through and advocate for you within the workplace, which sounds like that was one of the scenarios there. So that's awesome. And it's great that you're turning around and mentoring other people in your career as well.
Also, as far as inspiration, one woman that's definitely inspired me for the last 8 years of my life has been Sarah Blakely of Spanx. She's a powerhouse, and her, commitment to also promoting other female entrepreneurs, her advice, has definitely been a source of continued support. There were times that I would, be uncertain for a moment, and then I would read a quote from her or see a message that she posted about how herself at times she had moments where she questioned herself or questioned something, and it just reminded me that no matter how successful, all of us are, that there's times where you are going to, have a moment where you kind of stop and pause and kind of question something and doubt something or yourself. And I think the key thing that she really stresses is that, you have to continue to believe in yourself and in this case, your product and yourself. And, and that really, I always come back to that, and it keeps me going. And someone is, seeing someone as successful as her and that she did it herself, one woman, it just reminds me that you really can do it if you just continue to believe and knock on doors and don't give up.
Yeah, that's great. And yeah, Sarah Blakely, she is a powerhouse, like you said. She's definitely an inspiration for all of us entrepreneurs, and then also people just trying to, advance in their careers, and women everywhere to believe in themselves. So she's a great mentor. I agree. That's all the questions that I have for you today, but thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Women in Retail Talks, Angela. It was great hearing your story.
Thanks, Christina. I really enjoyed it, and I was really glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
And one last thing before we go, if women listening want to purchase or look into the Honey Cloudz, where can they find your products? What's your website?
Absolutely. It's at honeycloudz.com, and it's HONYCLOUDZ.com, and you can purchase us there.
Perfect. Yeah. So any listeners, check them out. Thanks so much, Angela.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at womeninretail.com/podcast for show notes. Women in Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Women in Retail Talks.